Hello, I'm Thomas Cepeda. Today I'll be exploring the fascinating evolution of vampire lore and literature, from John Polidori's The Vampire to Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files. We will delve into how societal and cultural shifts have influenced the portrayal of these unique creatures over time. Vampires have captivated the human imagination for centuries, evolving from the terrifying monsters to the complex anti-heroes. Let's embark on this literary journey together. We begin our journey in 1819 with John Polidori's The Vampire. This novella, published during the Romantic era, introduced the archetype of the aristocratic and seductive vampire. Polidori's vampire, Lord Ruthven, is a charismatic nobleman who preys on high society. This portrayal led to the groundwork for the vampire's association with nobility and seduction. The story itself was groundbreaking as it departed from the traditional grotesque monster that society was used to and gave us the vampire that was both alluring and deadly, reflecting the period's fascination with the Gothic and sublime. The Romantic era, with its emphasis on emotion, nature, and the sublime, heavily influenced Polidori's work. His relationship with Lord Byron, a prominent figure at the time, also played a significant role in shaping the character of Lord Ruthven, who some would even argue is a reflection of Lord Byron himself. The fascination with the supernatural and unknown common in romantic literature is highly evident in The Vampire, which set the stage for the future vampire narratives. Fast forward to 1897 and we encounter Bram Stoker's Dracula. This seminal work not only solidified the image of the vampire as a charismatic predator, but also infused the narrative with elements of folklore and superstition. Dracula, the antagonist, is depicted as a cunning and almost invincible being who can shapeshift and command creatures of the night. Stoker's novel is rich with themes of immigration, disease, and the clash between the modern and ancient evil. The late 19th century was a time of significant change and anxiety, with the rise of industrialization, urbanization, and increased immigration. Dracula's fear of the crucifix and his need for an invitation into homes symbolize the cultural anxieties of the time regarding the unknown and the other. The novel reflects the fears of invasion, contamination, which was really prevalent during that society. Since its publication, Dracula has been adapted into numerous films, television shows, plays, and books, and new disseminations of each time of the character. From Bela Lugosi's iconic portrayal in the 1931 film to the more recent interpretations by actor Gary Oldman, Dracula remains a central figure in vampire lore. The novel's lasting impact is evident in how modern vampire stories continue to draw from Stoker's creation, blending horror with romanticism and existential dread. In 1976, Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire revolutionized vampire literature by introducing complex, morally ambiguous characters. The novel presents vampires who grapple with the existential dilemmas and ethical quandaries. Luis, the protagonist, is a vampire with a conscience tormented by guilt and a longing for redemption. This shift mirrored the growing complexities of society's views on morality and identity during the 1970s, an era marked by questioning traditional values and exploring new philosophies. The 1970s were a time of significant social upheaval, with movements for social rights and women's rights gaining momentum. Rice's work delves deeply into the psyche of her characters, making them relatable and sympathetic despite their monstrous nature. Rice's vampires are not just predators, but philosophers, artists, lovers. The themes of immortality and existentialism are central to the narrative, with characters like Luis and Lestat grappling with the meaning of their eternal lives. The novel explores the consequences of living forever, such as the loss of humanity, the search for purpose, and the burden of that long memory. These themes resonate with the readers and add a depth to the vampire mythos. Finally, we reach the contemporary reinterpretation of vampires in Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files, my personal favorite of this batch. Here, traditional vampire lore is blended with urban fantasy, reflecting modern genre trends and the fusion of the classic and contemporary storytelling elements. Butcher's vampires are diverse, organized into different courts, and their characteristics and abilities vary widely across these courts. You have the Red Court, the Black Court, White Court, and Jade Court, each having their own unique traits and roles within vampire community. This segmentation adds layers to the vampire mythos, allowing for a richer, more varied exploration of the vampire culture and added politics. The series portrays vampires not just as predators, but beings within their own societies with their own rules and conflicts, mirroring the world's complexities as well. In the Dresden Files, vampires interact with humans and other supernatural beings, such as wizards, fairies, werewolves. These interactions often highlight themes of power, corruption, and morality. For instance, the White Court vampires, who feed on human emotion, navigate human society with charm and manipulation, reflecting real-world issues of the exploitation and control. Butcher's nuanced portrayal of these vampires challenges traditional notions of good and evil, offering a more complex and engaging narrative, which is why, again, I find this series' interpretation of vampires. In conclusion, the evolution of vampire lore and literature is a mirror reflecting cultural and societal changes through time. From the Romantic era's aristocratic vampires to today's morally complex and hybrid creatures, these transformations offer deep insights into our collective psyche. Vampires continue to evolve, reflecting our fears, desires, and questions about identity and morality. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the dark, seductive, and ever-evolving world of vampire literature.